Dear children, we'll continue chapter number 3, that is genetics. Okay, so we are in the last class we are doing sex-linked inheritance. Okay, inheritance you came to know what actually it was, that the transmission of genetic properties from parents to offspring. Okay, that means from generations to the next generations. Okay, that is called inheritance. Alright, so today in this session we'll do the Mendel's experiments on inheritance. Okay, Mendel's experiments on inheritance. So how Mendel did this experiment on inheritance, how he proved, okay, how he made the world to know the transmission of genetics or transmission of hereditary characteristics from parents to offspring. Okay, so we'll do that particular cross or the experiments done by Mendel. So who is Mendel? The full name of Mendel is Gregor John Mendel. Okay, I have already told you about the brief idea about the scientist called Gregor John Mendel. Okay, he was an Austrian monk. Okay, so he did his graduation from the University of Vienna, and he wanted to become a teacher, but he could not become because he could not pass the teacher certificate examinations there. Okay, but afterwards what he discovered made him a teacher of the teachers. Okay, so after completing his graduation, he came back to his monastery, and he spent the rest of his life as an abbot. Okay, then in the monastery itself. So the monastery had huge garden where they used to cultivate the peas. Then all the peas, it's a pea plant, Pisum sativum, it's a botanical name. And he did his experiment on the pea plant itself because of many reasons why he did only on the pea. So there are many reasons. I don't need to tell you all about it because that's not there in the syllabus also. So we'll go directly to the Mendel's experiments there. Okay, so what he did, what he contributed in the field of genetics, made him a teacher of the teachers in the entire world. And because of that contribution itself, he is also known to be the father of genetics. Okay, so coming to the process of the experiments he did. So he did two different kinds of experiments out of his sheer interest in fact. So they were monohybrid cross and dihybrid cross. Okay, mono means one. That means the cross, the experiment where he considered only one contrasting character. So that cross was called the monohybrid cross. That means the cross or the experiment in which only one character is taken up, is considered at a time, is called monohybrid cross. And dihybrid cross means the cross or the experiment where two different contrasting characters are taken up at a time, then the cross is said to be the dihybrid cross. He did both kinds of experiments there. So today in this session we will see the monohybrid cross. Okay, so for monohybrid cross he actually took up 7 contrasting characters of the pea plant. Okay, 7 contrasting characters of the pea plant. Let's see 7 contrasting characters he took up for the monohybrid cross are these here. You see the color of the flower of the pea plant. Okay, color of the flower. So the pea can bear the purple flower also or the white flower also. He considered one character for that, and even he considered the color of the seed of the pea plant, that is yellow and green. Seed shape also he considered for his monohybrid cross, that was round and wrinkled. Similarly, pod color, green and yellow, raw pod shaped, inflated, constricted. Flower position of the flower. Where was the flower bun? So it was at the tip of the shoot or somewhere at the axil of the leaf. So that was the position of the flower. Also, he considered for his monohybrid cross that was axillary and terminal. Even the plant height, even he considered the character of plant height, that was tall and broad. So these were the 7 contrasting characters he considered for his monohybrid cross. And in all the crosses, in all the experiments, he found the same result. Okay, so what was the result? What he found? Let us now do it with the help of an example given there in the book also. Okay, see this one. Character of the pea plant, with regard to the position of the flower. Okay, where was the flower born? So that one was the one variety of the pea plant, pure variety of the pea plant having the terminal flower, the other variety of the pea plant having the axillary flower. So these 2 varieties of the pea plants he chose for his monohybrid cross. Out of 7, I have taken only one character out here. That was, which was this character? The position of the flower. One is terminal flower, the other one is in the axillary flower in his garden itself. Then what he did is that he crossed these 2 varieties of the pea plants. Okay, 2 varieties of the pea plant. What are the varieties as I told you? One is bearing the terminal flower, the other one is bearing the axillary flower. He crossed. So how he crossed? The question comes now again. Okay, question arises in your mind. How he crossed? He crossed, in that way that he collected the pollen grains from this flower. Pollen grains, which are born there in the anther, he collected from this and transferred the pollen grains to the stigma of this flower, axillary flower. Okay, he crossed that way. Okay, then he observed pea plants born in the produced in the first generation. So he crossed it. Then obviously after the cross, the pollen grains going to the stigma, then further goes down to the ovary. Then in the ovary there is ovule where it is united with the gamete. Okay, united with the female gamete. Then the zygote is formed. That way it develops into the fruit containing seeds. Okay, and those seeds he collected and he sowed them again there in the garden. And then he observed the pea plants produced from those resulting seeds. What kind of plants were born? What kinds of plants were produced by those resulting seeds? Now see, that generation which we got in that from those resulting seeds were termed as the seedlings or the plants of the F1 generation of the first generation. And all those pea plants in the first generation were having axillary flowers. Axillary flowers. Axillary flowers means this flower was dominant over the other flower. So this character of having the flower in the axil were seen in the first generation. All the pea plants were having the axillary flowers in the first generation. Okay, so that is called first generation hybrid. Hybrid, which means here these 2 varieties of the pea plants have been crossed. Okay, though it is not expressed here, though it is not seen, but gene is there. Gene is there, it can be seen out here. Capital A, small a. Why it is capital A? Because it is dominant over the recessive, which is expressed by small a. So capital A, small a. Though it is expressing that it is axillary flower, but genetic material is there in the first generation. Then what he did? Then they all produced the seeds. He collected those seeds again, and again he sowed them there in the garden to see the second generation. Okay, so when those seeds, seeds from these plants, after collecting, when he sowed, then they again grew into the big pea plants, and those pea plants now Those pea plants now were showing the characteristics like this. They were having the property like this, which was termed as the second generation or the F2 generation. F2 means for second filial generation. So these characters were seen in the F2 generation. Okay, what was the character you see? Out of four pea plants, out of four is not that only there were four, but many. But out of four, three were axillary flowers. Three were having the axillary flowers. Only one was having the terminal flower. Now see, though this terminal flower was not seen in the first generation, but it is now seen there in the second generation also. Okay, though the ratio is different, but it is seen in the second generation. That means here in the second generation, out of four pea plants, three were the plants having axillary flower, and only one was having the terminal flower. Okay, so this is how he came to know about the inheritance in the pea plants like this. So the same can be expressed in other way also. I'll just show you. Okay, I'll show you here. Now see. Axillary flower and terminal flower. Okay, so he crossed these two varieties of the pea plants. Okay, so it was represented by capital A, and this was by small a. Okay, so he crossed it. He found all the plants, all the pea plants having axillary flower in the F1 generation. Axillary flower, that is hybrid in F1 generation. Okay, then what it is that he allowed them for the self-pollination. He allowed them for the self-pollination. So these are the gametes. Okay, these are the gametes which are now fusing to produce the pea plants in the second generation. Okay, now see. Axillary flowers, and this is terminal. Okay, so this is F2 generation. F2 generation. Okay, so in the F2 generation, as we found there in the diagram which we discussed just now, here according to this what we find is that out of these four pea plants, three were axillary flowers and only one was terminal flower. Okay, so if you see the genotype and phenotype, so that you have to know about phenotypic and genotypic ratio also. Out of four, these three are axillary flowers. That means their expression is that they express themselves to be having the axillary flower. Three of them. Whereas only one is having the terminal flower. That is phenotype. Their expression is phenotype. So the phenotypic ratio will be 3:1. That means three axillary flowers, only one is terminal flower. Though they are axillary flowers, but their genetic pattern is different. You see here, their genetic pattern is different. See here, they are homozygous dominant. One is homozygous dominant. Two are heterozygous dominant. Only one is homozygous recessive. Okay, what is homozygous? What is heterozygous? They were all discussed in the class itself. Okay, so if you see the genetic pattern, which is called genotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio. Genotypic ratio will be 1:2. These two are same, 2:1. So 1:2, 2:1. So this is the result. Okay, this is the one result that we found in the monohybrid cross. No matter he considered the 7 contrasting characters, okay, for his monohybrid cross, he found the same result in all the crosses. So the same can be expressed. The same can be explained with the help of another method also. It's called Punnett square method. Punnett square method can also apply here. So okay. So here same thing I am going to apply. A and this A. Alright, this A is here, this A is here, okay, this A is here, this A is here. So if you cross it, you open like that. This and this, and this and this. Okay, now see, this is F1 generation. F1 generation. So as you see here, F1. So all the plants having auxiliary flowers, okay, which are all hybrid. If you allow them to have the self-pollination, so you can see the pea plants in those way, I mean in the different characters in the second generation. So F2 generation, which can be again expressed this way. Okay, so he is going to cross this one. A is here, small a is here, capital A is here, small a is here. If you discuss here, this and this, this and this, this and this. Okay, you see here now. What you can see here, this one is having the auxiliary flower. Okay, so although this and this also are the auxiliary flowers, but the genetic pattern is different, and the last one is your terminal flower. This is your terminal flower. Okay, so if you calculate that, if you see that this ratio, phenotype will be in the second generation. This is your second generation, which is also called F2 generation. F2 generation. So in the F2 generation, if you just see the ratio will be the same out here. Okay, 3:1. That means phenotype will be 3:1. 1, 2, 3. All are expressing themselves to be having the auxiliary flower, whereas only one is having the terminal flower, 3:1. And genotype relation will be this is 1, this 2 is here, I've written, and last one is here. So this is the result of the cross of the monohybrid experiment in the second generation, in the F2 generation. This is the first generation as you see here, and this is in the second generation. So now he tried with all the 7 contrasting characters as we discussed before. He found the same result in all of them. So this is how he did it. So I think you are clear with what I have discussed out, what I have told you. Please try to see them all there. There in the video also, and also there in the book. Please refer to the book also. And afterwards, I will send the I'll send the assignment with regard to the work which we did today. There one that your tease meant only. Okay, and most of the interactions now will do their one tease meant. So there, when we have the live class, that time you can even tell me the problem that you didn't understand today here. Okay, so we can see the same thing. We can even clear our doubt. The tease meant whenever we have the live session. Okay, so thank you very much.